Coming up on the program, a grant of $5,000 to relocate from Auckland to Huntly, Ngaruawahia, Hamilton, Whanganui or Gisborne. But are there any jobs there? We go to find out, and we have more analysis, much more, and reaction on the budget. A very strong panel indeed after 6. Lots coming up. Plus Eric McIsaac, the man charged with murdering his 10-year-old brother Alex Fisher, has of course pleaded guilty, and the impact of a shortage of hotel beds on the future of the film industry in and around Queenstown. We'd love to hear from you in any way you choose. Text 2101, email checkpoint@radionz.co.nz, and don't forget our Twitter feed and our excellent Facebook page. Andrew Little is also coming up before 6 o'clock. A grant of up to $5,000 is being offered to people to leave Auckland, but what's waiting for them when they arrive in their new regional home? Yesterday, the Social Housing Minister, Paula Bennett, announced the government would pay people living in Auckland state houses up to $5,000 to move away. The offer is also being extended to the homeless.
So the $5,000 is more for those that are currently in social houses and relocating, but yes, we might do some sort of financial assistance if that's what's needed, and they are willing. In some cases it could be even Huntly or Ngaruawahia. We've got some houses available in Hamilton, then further afield, Whanganui, Gisborne has got some empty houses.
As mentioned there, Huntly and Ngaruawahia are among the options. But what job prospects are there in those towns, and what do the locals make of the idea? Alex Ashton went to find out.
Huntly is a small town of about 7,000. It bears little resemblance to its much larger counterpart, Auckland, 100 kilometres to the north or an hour's drive. But the makeup of Huntly could soon change if people take up the government's grant and move there. Matada's already taken the plunge. He moved to Huntly in 2000 off his own bat.
When I first came here, it was okay. I left Auckland because of accommodation expenses. It just wasn't viable anymore. So I came down here. My mum's from here, and between 2000 and now, most of the family moved here.
As Matada said, it was just getting too expensive to live in Auckland. He's out of work at the moment. He's been employed on and off, but says the work dries up as quickly as it comes around. And he says if people move to Huntly from Auckland, they'll soon find it's not an easy place to make a living.
Not here. You've got to go to Hamilton. You've got to go back to Auckland. You've got to go back to the cities to get to work. Unless you're willing to do something in the rural sector or farming or anything like that. That takes skill. Skill means going back to school. How many times in a year do you have to go back to school to get another skill? To finally realise that, wow, I've taken a student loan, I've done 3 years on a course, and I'm still on a benefit. What changed? The only thing that changed was the year.
Further up the street, I met another local, a mother of 6, who was sceptical about the grant.
What are they going to do when it's all gone? 5K doesn't last long.
Is there much work in Huntly?
No. I don't work myself, so I'm struggling to find work. You'd be lucky to get a job here.
She says rent's cheap, a couple of $100 a week, but she agrees with Matada. Anyone who comes to Huntly to work will have to look elsewhere.
It's only 20 minutes down the road to Ham, so you could go there and find work and come back and cook tea for your family and be happy. It's possible, but it's probably not reality for most.
Kaylee is 30, another local who's struggling to find ongoing employment. He's worried about what an influx of Aucklanders would mean for people like him.
They're just going to send a whole bunch of people down here, and then we're all going to be struggling to find work or houses if they all get their houses first, because there's still people looking for houses here.
Few locals seemed keen on a flood of Aucklanders moving in, or overly positive about their prospects when they arrive in Huntly.
So there's nothing here, straight up, nothing.
It's about a 15-kilometre drive to nearby Ngaruawahia, another small town touted as a possible new home for poor Aucklanders. Ngaruawahia is smaller yet, about 5,000 live there, and the main street is noticeably quieter than Huntly. Rosie's lived there 27 years. She's unemployed, but
I am finding work.
Is it hard?
To find work?
Yeah.
I think you just got to keep going out there and putting your name forward, but I'll have to go out of town to find it.
Rosie loves living in Ngaruawahia and thinks Aucklanders would too. But when it comes to work, she says it's the meatworks or the supermarket, and those jobs are limited. Simon, who's also from Ngāroa Wāhia, is already noticing the place change.
Well, the last 6 months, I noticed there's a lot of different people here. And I noticed they're coming from Auckland too. Yeah, and I just feel sorry for them. They had to move all the way from a place like they lived in Auckland all their lives, and then they had to get away just because the shit life in Auckland.
Back in Huntly, Matara says he plans on staying put, mainly because he doesn't want to uproot his son.
He's just turned 13 yesterday. He's my main focus for being here. Once he finishes college and decides to maybe look into getting more skill for employment, then obviously we'll either go to Hamilton or go to Auckland.
And not everyone will get anywhere near the $5,000 to move. Social Housing Minister Paula Bennett says the amount depends on how far families go and how big they are. For Checkpoint, Alex Ashton.